did then Solicitor General Kagan ever give advice or express an opinion on legal or constitutional issues involving the health care legislation?
I do not believe so. In fact, as I testified in the Senate last month, I guess, we took steps to physically exclude or have her removed when conversation occurred.
What month did that take place? When did you start excluding her from those types of meetings?
I'm not sure when that started, but my memory is that whenever we had conversations about the health care bill, then Solicitor General Kagan was not present.
And the reason for excluding her is because of her possible consideration for the Supreme Court?
Yeah, I think that's right. We understood that was a possibility.
She testified that she first became aware of that possibility that she might be considered in early March. So you would not have excluded her prior to early March?
Well, I don't know exactly when these events occurred, but I do feel comfortable in saying that in terms of the conversations that occurred in my conference room about the health care legislation.
Right. But would you have had any reason to exclude her, any reason to wall her off, in the words that you were told by a deputy, prior to the time that she was considered for the Supreme Court?
Well, I can tell you that with regard to, as I said, the conversations that occurred in my conference room about the health care bill, I did not remember her being present for any of them.
Would you be able to check your records to find out what the date would have been when you started telling her that she should either excuse or recuse herself from those discussions?
We'll attempt to do that. I'm not sure that that information exists anyplace, but to the extent that it does, I'll provide it to you.
Okay, and would you have a record of any meetings because of your schedule that she attended?
Would I have a record?
Right, of any meetings that she attended, because if you went back and looked at your schedule, I assume that that would be on your schedule.
Yeah, they schedule for what is our 9:15 meeting list the people who are expected to be there. I don't know if we actually keep track of who actually does.
Okay, if you'll give me the dates when you started telling her that. Again, I don't believe you would have any reason to exclude her before she was being considered for the Supreme Court vacancy. And as I mentioned in my opening statement, she would actually have a duty to be involved in conversations regarding the health care bill. Let me go to another question. This goes to some of the correspondence that I've written you asking for documents and to be allowed to interview both present and former staff members. But is the department asserting a legal privilege in refusing to comply with my request for those documents and those interviews about then Solicitor General Kagan's involvement with the health care legislation? You know your letter to me did not assert any legal privilege.
Yeah, the department has released documents under FOIA relating to this matter, and those documents are certainly available to members of the committee. The documents that we have released are consistent with...
I'm not asking about the documents. Are you asserting a legal privilege? Is that why you are refusing to give me those documents?
Well, it is our view that in terms of trying to determine the answers to the questions that you have, that with regard to recusal questions, those are questions best brought by those who are involved in the context of the litigation.
Right. So you are not asserting any legal privilege?
Well, there are, it seems to me, separation of powers concerns given the fact that members of Congress are amici in the ongoing legislation, and so I would have concerns there with regard to separation.
Okay, what would be the legal privilege you're asserting if you assert one then?
Well, all I'm saying is that with regard to the information that is requested, it has been...
Okay, so again, you're not asserting a legal privilege. Is there any reason, therefore, I should not get the documents or be able to interview the individuals that I requested to interview?
Well, as I have said, that the federal law provides for the resolution of these recusal questions, and each justice has to make those kinds of...
Right. I'm not talking about recusal questions or what a Supreme Court justice might or might not do. I'm talking about my request for documents. I can't imagine any good reason why you would withhold them unless you were to assert a legal privilege, and then we could discuss the legal privilege. But I haven't heard you say you are asserting any legal privilege.
Well, the documents I think that you have requested have essentially been released under a FOIA that has been filed, and those documents are available.
No, the documents that I've requested may or may not have been released. That's what we're trying to find out, is what other documents might exist. We've also requested to interview 2 individuals, and you have not agreed to let us interview those individuals. But if you're not asserting a legal privilege, then I'll move forward with scheduling those interviews and look forward to the documents.
Well, we've not expressed, I guess, at this point, a legal privilege. What we have expressed, as I indicated before, constitutional concerns about the nature of the
I know, but concerns don't rise to the level of a legal privilege. If we all have concerns about a lot of subjects, I've expressed some of my concerns today, but if you're not going to assert a legal privilege, then I don't see any reason why I shouldn't get those documents and conduct those interviews.